For this poster presentation, I will present a descriptive exploratory study in which I looked at the effect of social media use on young adults' experience with solitude. Why do I ask these questions? Literature on emergent adulthood suggests that solitude allows young adults space for emotion regulation and self-discovery. On the contrary, there have been a lot of debates whether social media use might have negative impact on young adults' psychological well-being. This has also inspired very few studies that looked into whether social media might prevent young adults from getting the most out of their solitude. To test this idea, I conducted 3 studies. In the first study, I asked 111 university undergraduates between 18 and 24 to fill out questionnaires every day for 14 days. Each day, they were asked to answer these questions. Was there any time today that you had an opportunity to just relax without having to do any work or being obligated to do some task? This question targets leisure solitude time where participants were not occupied by schoolwork or chores, which are common activities during time alone for this age group. This type of daily solitude is not rare in this sample. On average, participants indicated in 60% of their surveys that they had this kind of experience. The majority of these times were also reported involving social media use. However, when I looked at how daily leisure solitude relates to daily emotional experiences, I found that having this experience is associated with more calmness and relaxation reported on that day and less anxiety or tenseness. I did not find any evidence whether social media use during that time modified that association. Of course, the diary study only allows me to look at correlations, so I followed up with 2 experimental studies, with study 2 using a within subject design and study 3 using a between subject design. In study 2, I asked 146 Facebook users into the lab. Participants were randomized into 2 groups, one group spending 15 minutes not doing anything but spending time with their thoughts, and then spent another 15 minutes browsing on Facebook. The other group also engaged in the same activities, but in the opposite order, 15 minutes browsing on Facebook and then another 15 minutes thinking. I found similar changes in participant emotions for the first 15 minutes in both conditions, but for the second 15 minutes, those who got to spend the later part browsing on Facebook showed uplift in affects like excited or energized, and drops in boredom. However, we also found that browsing on Facebook increased inauthenticity ratings, measures by item I did not feel myself. In study 3, this time I invited social media users into the lab and randomized them into 3 groups. One group spent 15 minutes thinking, the second group spent 15 minutes browsing on social media, and the third group spent 15 minutes reading books. Again, I found that those who browse on social media show the sharpest drops in sadness compared to the other conditions, especially the condition where participants were asked to do nothing aside from spending time with their thoughts. However, again, those in browsing condition showed increase in ratings of inauthenticity. So in conclusion, I did not find evidence that social media has a large impact on young adults' experience with leisure solitude, at least when I observed in a very brief period of time. However, future research needs to look into why social media creates a feeling of not feeling myself, which I use in this research to measure inauthenticity. Solitude indeed is an opportunity for young adults to reflect on their goals and priorities. And it is not yet clear from this research whether the content of social media that our participants were browsing might be incompatible with their authentic feelings at the time.